Hey everyone! If you grew up in the 90s, chances are Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore holds a special place in your heart. That mix of goofy humor, underdog sports vibes, and Sandler's wild antics made it an instant classic. But now, nearly 3 decades later, Happy Gilmore 2 has arrived. And let's just say, it's a reminder that sometimes it's okay to let the past stay in the past. Stick around as we dive into why this sequel feels more like a tired rerun than a fresh comedy hit. And hey, before we tee off, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the latest in entertainment. Back in 1996, Happy Gilmore burst onto the scene with Adam Sandler playing a rough-around-the-edges hockey player turned unlikely golf star. It was loud, it was ridiculous, and it perfectly captured the juvenile, slapstick humor that defined Sandler's early career. You remember the yelling, the silly voices, the absurd fights, all the chaos that made 90s comedy feel like a playground. Sandler's brand of humor back then was all about embracing that kid inside who never wanted to grow up. His other 90s hits like Billy Madison went full throttle on immature jokes, cementing his place as the king of goofy juvenile comedy. And audiences loved it. But Sandler's story isn't just about dumb jokes. In 2005, he surprised critics and fans alike with a dramatic turn in Punch Drunk Love. Suddenly, this guy who spent years making silly faces showed a quiet, nuanced side that proved he was more than just slapstick. Then came the Meyerowitz Stories and Uncut Gems, roles that showcased his range and made us wonder, could Sandler finally be moving past the one-note comedy he was known for? Then came the big Netflix deal. In 2020, Sandler and Netflix signed on for 4 more films together. This was a big win for Netflix, locking in one of comedy's biggest names. But it also meant Sandler was tied to a style of filmmaking that, frankly, has felt a bit dour and, well, safe. It seemed like the mature, nuanced Sandler many hoped for was being boxed back into the same old mold. And now, here we are with Happy Gilmore 2, the final film of that deal, a sequel that feels like a step backward rather than forward. The new film is basically a narrative replay of the original. Same story beats, same underdog struggling with cash, same goofy golf antics. It's packed with callbacks and cameos, designed more to spark some quick social media chatter than to offer anything fresh or exciting. You've got familiar faces popping in. Ben Stiller's character, for example, now runs an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, which is a funny throwback. But others barely register beyond a quick one-liner. And if you don't recognize someone, no worries, because clips from the first movie randomly pop up like flashbacks to remind you who they are. That heavy reliance on nostalgia makes you wonder, is this movie really standing on its own, or is it just piggybacking on the original's success? What's even more noticeable is the film's obvious attempt to be cool for today's audience. Cameos from NFL star Travis Kelce, music icon Eminem, and Hot Ones host Sean Evans feel less like organic parts of the story and more like desperate grabs for modern street cred. There's even a scene featuring Steve Buscemi that screams, "Hey, remember this guy?" The real head-scratcher is Benny Safdie's role. Safdie, who co-directed Uncut Gems, plays a tech genius trying to shake up golf. But instead of elevating the film, his talents are clearly held back, made to fit into Sandler's world rather than the other way around. This mismatch highlights how much Sandler's comedic style hasn't evolved, even when surrounded by fresh talent who could have taken the film in a new direction. This all brings to mind another 90s comedy icon, Clueless. As Clueless celebrates its 30th anniversary, it's clear why it's still beloved. The fashion, the dialogue, the cultural impact. It's a comedy that not only entertained, but shaped pop culture. A sequel to Clueless would feel almost sacrilegious because the original is so perfect in its own right. Happy Gilmore doesn't quite hold that same untouchable legacy. It's loved, sure, but Happy Gilmore 2's existence feels less like a celebration and more like a because we can kind of project. Instead of building on its foundation, it's stuck retelling the same story with diminishing returns. Despite all that, you can't deny Sandler's charm. Beneath the childish jokes and wild antics, there's a warmth and earnestness that has kept audiences coming back for years. And when he dips into those more serious roles, critics and fans take notice. But those moments remain rare, and Happy Gilmore 2 feels like a retreat into the comfort zone of old jokes and slapstick that may have made sense in the 90s, but feel worn out today. The film is proof that comedy, especially the kind we loved decades ago, doesn't always age gracefully. At the end of the day, not every movie has to be timeless. Sometimes it's enough to be great just once. Happy Gilmore was that once. And while it's fun to revisit those characters and memories, maybe some stories are better left where they started. What do you think? Did Happy Gilmore 2 hit a hole in one? Or just land in the rough? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more entertainment news and reviews. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.